This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
A Torah Anytime original series.
Let's ask an obvious question. How is it possible that the moment a girl turns 12 or a boy turns 13, they are suddenly expected to carry the entire Torah on their shoulders? The Torah at Har Sinai was given to all of Klal Yisrael evenly. Whether you're 75 years old and seasoned by life and reflective and mature, or you're 12 years old and barely know what you're doing. And yet, the obligation is the same. You are now responsible to keep the entire Torah. Isn't that a little hard on a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old? Think about it. 10 seconds ago, they were just lounging around all day playing ping pong, jealous of their friends' sneakers and wishing they had the coolest backpack or newest gadget. And now suddenly, no more jealousy. 10 seconds ago, they didn't exactly respect their parents, and now suddenly, kibbud avayim. 10 seconds ago, they knew almost nothing about Hilchos Shabbos, and now they're hit with an avalanche, millions of halachos of Shabbos. They're supposed to know all of them? Just like that, the snap of a finger. How does Hashem expect a child to just flip a switch and overnight, suddenly, keep everything? Here's the answer. The answer is that somewhere along the way, we absorbed a completely false idea. That at any given moment, you're supposed to already be a tzaddik. That the minute you turn bar mitzvah or bas mitzvah, if you're not Reb Chaim Kanievsky or Reb Tzin Kanievsky, you're already behind. That if you slip once and say a little Lashon Hara, you failed. If you didn't finish Shas in high school, you failed. If you don't know every last detail of Hilchos Shabbos, you failed. That mindset isn't just wrong. It's a mistake of epic proportions. Hashem does not expect greatness the moment we come out of the womb. He's not waiting with a clipboard at age 13 saying, okay, let's see if this one nailed Judaism yet. Life is not about being a tzaddik on day one. Life is about ending up a tzaddik, about movement, about growth, about becoming a tzaddik. Here's the part a lot of people miss. Avodas Hashem is a lifelong journey. It's not a pop quiz. It's not a light switch. It's not an overnight transformation. You're not meant to walk out of childhood as a fully formed spiritual giant with everything figured out. The goal isn't perfection at 13 or even 27. The goal is that when life is over, you can say you spent it climbing. And climbing is messy. It includes confusion and missteps and backtracking and falls. It includes trying and failing and trying again and sometimes failing better the second time. The Torah doesn't demand flawlessness. It assumes struggle. It's built for human beings, not angels. Hashem isn't asking, are you perfect yet? He's asking, are you moving? Are you growing? Are you still in the game? Because greatness in Judaism isn't about never failing. It's about refusing to stay down. Listen to this Gemara. The Gemara in Kiddushin, Daf Mem Amud Beis, says something shocking. About the greatest spiritual collapse in history, the Egel Hazav, it says, the Gemara is trying to figure out how in the world could the holiest Jews who ever lived commit such an egregious act immediately after receiving the Torah. So the Gemara says that in truth, they were on a much higher, loftier level than committing such a sin. However, Hashem lowered their guard, so to speak, so that they should sin and then thus be forced to do tshuva and introduce to the world the concept of tshuva. That's what the Gemara says. Let's ask an obvious question. Are you serious? That's when you teach us about tshuva? I'm all into tshuva. It's important, there's no doubt. Can you wait a few minutes before orchestrating the most catastrophic publicly talked about sin in all of world history? Does it really need to be 10 seconds after we get to Torah? Can't you wait until some random cloudy day in October, the Jews are sitting around in the desert counting sand and minding their own business and there is nothing else going on, and then you lower their level and they do the egel and we do tshuva and we teach the whole world for all time the concept of tshuva. Why orchestrate it to coincide with the giving of the Torah? Oh, only the single greatest, holiest moment in all of world history. That's when you teach me about tshuva? The answer is that Hashem chose that moment on purpose, right after Matan Torah, because he wanted to make something crystal clear once and for all. Don't you ever dare think that the Torah is only for tzaddikim. Don't you ever dare think it demands perfection, that it's only for people floating in some holy spiritual incubator where everything is peaceful and pure. No, that's not real life. The reason the Egel had to come immediately after Matan Torah is to show us that a Torah life without failure, and more importantly, without knowing how to get back up, doesn't work. The Torah was given with failure in mind. The Torah doesn't just understand failure. It expects it. It anticipates it. For the same God that gave us the Torah gave us the nisyonos and the challenges to strengthen us and to eventually bring us back to Him through the most powerful force in the world, a force called tshuva. Hashem was sending a message, not just to the Jews of the Midbar, but to every single Jew for all time. That pit in your stomach when you mess up, that ache, that guilty feeling, that anxiety, that feeling that you should be spiritually more than you are right now, that's not something that gets in the way of your Avodas Hashem. That is your Avodas Hashem. Being real, being raw, coming to Hashem, not with perfection, but with honesty, with the bruises, with the baggage, with the regret, with the burning desire to pick yourself up and keep going. That's not a flaw in the system. That's not a bug in the system. That is the system. Hashem didn't give the Torah to angels. He gave it to people, real people with jobs and bills and screaming kids and spilled coffee and annoying coworkers and sore backs and overflowing schedules and breaking points. And somewhere deep inside of all of that, a spark that just wants more. The fact that you wish you learned more Torah, the fact that you regret you don't daven better, that you cry when no one else is looking because you really want to give more tzedakah and you wish you could, that you carry spiritual dreams you never had time to chase that still nag at your heart, that's not failure. That's the spark. That's not something that gets in the way of your Avodas Hashem. That is Avodas Hashem. Yearning to be better in Avodas Hashem isn't a detour. It's the highway. And yet, how often do we walk around saying, hey, I'm not a gadol, so I'm a failure. I don't daven like the Stoner Rebbe, so I'm a failure. I don't learn like Rav Moshe Feinstein, so I'm a failure. What a mistake. Hashem doesn't expect you to be an instant gadol. He wants to see you learn to grow. He knows your life. He knows your struggles. He knows your limitations. He made your limitations. Of course, he doesn't expect a 13-year-old or a 12-year-old girl to be perfect on their bar mitzvah day. What he wants is that you're climbing the ladder, not settling on the floor. Hashem never asked you to be a gadol overnight. He asked you not to give up on becoming one. So stop disqualifying yourself. Stop comparing your beginning to someone else's end. Stop calling growth failure just because it's not finished yet. If you're climbing, even if you're out of breath, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. I recently made a shalom zacher for my son. The minhag is that being that a child learned the entire Torah in his mother's womb and then is tapped on the lip and forgets it right before he leaves, we go all to be menachem mavel him and console him, so to speak. So I asked the following question at the Shalom Zachar. I said, I don't understand. This baby, a few days ago, was sitting and learning with the greatest Torah giants who ever lived. He was being taught by angels. He was learning Kabbalah from the Arizal. He was learning Lumdis from Reb Chaim Brisker and Halacha from Reb Yosef Karo. And he was learning Gemara with Rava and Abaye. And he was learning Chumash sitting next to Rashi. And then he leaves, and he is distraught. And he comes into this world, and we are his nechama, us? A room full of people who barely know anything? Aren't we only confirming his doubts on this world, that this is a world of people who know almost nothing in comparison to the angels that he was learning with? Isn't a room full of tired and worn out men who had a long week working, who probably didn't learn too much, who are just trying to make it in life, and we are the nechama? He sees the guy who hasn't opened a sefer in months. He sees the guy who is on a third grade level of Chumash and he's 50. He just finished learning with the Pnei Yeshua and the Maral and the Sfas Emes, this baby. And this is his nechama? We? How are we comforting him? We are terrifying him. The answer is, we're telling him something loud and clear. The Torah isn't about knowing everything. It's about growing. It's about trying. It's about struggling. That's what this world is for. That's why we show up, to show him the beauty of effort, not perfection. We're telling him, you don't lose out by being born. You're starting your journey to greatness, one that will last you your whole life. You see, a lot of people go through life thinking, I'm 27, I still speak Lashon Hara, I still look at things I shouldn't, I still don't daven properly, I'm failing, I'm a nobody, I might as well just go make money all day and make the most out of my olam hazeh, hope for the best. But that's wrong. You're not supposed to be a tzaddik at 27. You're supposed to end up a tzaddik. That's the game plan. That's the secret. Life is designed to challenge you, to stress you, to push you into the tshuva highway. Your mistakes, your regrets, your I can't believe I just did that moments, that's where the growth lies. That's where the real spiritual work happens. The Torah isn't a VIP club for perfect people. It's a manual for real people with messy lives. And if you take it seriously, failures, strugglers, chaos, and all, you'll end up a tzaddik. Not immediately, not tomorrow, but in the end. And at the end of the day, that's what counts.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.